On the record in case CR 207179, case caption stating about a plaintiff versus August Anton Peters, defendant. The record this morning will reflect the presence of the defendant, Mr. Peters, with counsel, Mr. Derrick Penney, Mr. Richard Haas on behalf of the state. We're on the record this morning briefly for a pretrial conference. This case was originally scheduled for a pretrial conference this past Tuesday, I believe the 12th. I was informed on that day that the parties were just initiating a settlement conference with a senior visiting judge. And then I believe it was yesterday at some point, my staff was informed that this matter was not resolved through that process. And due to the rapidly approaching trial date, I wanted to get this pretrial conference back on the calendar so that we could discuss the jury veneer summons. So we're scheduled to begin on November 1st, and we are scheduled for 2 weeks. I believe we also have another motions hearing scheduled for the 26th already. So today it's really, are we prepared to proceed on November 1st? And we'll discuss the number of potential jurors. Mr. Penney?
We are prepared to proceed on November 1st.
Okay. Mr. Haas?
Judge, the state's prepared to proceed on November 1st, and maybe an issue with that Friday for me.
You guys can remove those to speak if you'd like. We're only a few of us here today.
I got this tag sticking me in the nose.
Okay.
So the only issue may be the Friday of the first week, due to some obligations I've had for a while. I may not be available, but we can certainly discuss that on that 26th motion date. If it's a matter of, co-counsel just taking over for one day, or because it's a 2-week trial date for jury, a long weekend after the long first part of it. We'll discuss it then, Judge. The other issue that
So that's Friday the 5th?
Yes, Judge,
Okay.
Friday the 5th.
Very good.
The only other thing, and I think it's just a matter of housekeeping, I know the court, and I haven't done a jury trial here, puts the jury back here.
And when you say back here, just so Mr. Peters understands, they'd be in the gallery, yes.
The question I have is, what is the procedure to ensure we have an open and public courtroom? Because there may be an issue if certainly if Mr. Peters' father wants to come, where would he be able to see it? Because the jury's back here, and the reason I bring this up is we have a legislative update, and I can't remember if this issue, I want to say this issue came up as far as a case, but I kind of caught the tail end of it. But I just want to know, is the public able to view this? And do we have the ability for them to view it?
The short answer is yes and yes. The seating in the courtroom itself will be somewhat limited.
Okay.
We have in the past 4 jury trials, I believe 4 or 5 jury trials during COVID, we have had some seating in the back row on both sides, and I think in the center back. The problem with the 3 seats right in the center in the back of the courtroom now is that with those books, there's not as much room between the chairs and the seats directly in front of them. So those will probably be removed. So because we do have, I believe the way that we've seated the jury for past trials is that there would be a juror in, or maybe more than one juror in that back row in the center section. And I do not want a member of the public, especially a witness or a family member, or the press or anyone else really, to be breathing down the back of the neck of a juror during the trial. Now, another, and I appreciate you bringing this up, another option for this may be some type of closed circuit to feed the jury trial into another room, say in the courthouse, or there is an option with Zoom to use what's called a webinar feature where people can log in and watch. I don't have to control them coming in and out. The problem with that is if the rule of exclusion is invoked, I may not have, nor you have the same control over who connects to watch if we use the webinar feature. If we used just a closed circuit arrangement, so a TV set up in another room here, that room could be controlled by additional bailiff or court security or court staff to ensure, or your staff to ensure that if the rule of exclusion is invoked, that's not violated.
Yeah, and I think that's, Judge, the closed circuit in the courtroom, what I'm remembering being discussed as the way to do it. I just didn't know if we needed to start that discussion now that we have a couple of weeks to get ready for it, rather than wait for the last minute. If we bring it up in the motions here and we've lost 2 weeks, arguably, and say, oh, by the way, hey, can we have closed circuit TV? That might be the easier way to do it. Both of them, like run them concurrent to each other, closed circuit, and then family and press meeting in here, right?
Yeah, with limited numbers. Yeah, okay, I appreciate that. I'll make a note of that to check into it. Mr. Penney, do you anticipate a large number of family, friends, just onlookers, observers? I mean, I don't know what the temperature is out there for this trial.
I know for sure that Mr. Peters will have at least 3 family members, maybe 4.
Are any of them, though, witnesses too, or?
Maybe actually one would be a witness. So there's a couple of siblings that witness to the file things.
Okay. Okay, so we may have to, you may want to discuss with your client, who may want to discuss with his family this conversation about some limited seating. And really my greatest concern is that family, friends, press, witnesses, parties, attorneys do not engage with the jury during the trial. As you know, I mean, you attorneys understand this. I think the lay public sometimes doesn't understand the importance of that. And we are, we are operating in a unique time without, without clearly defined jury box as we've had in the past. As you were, I think, both aware from prior trials, we will move some of these other tables in the courtroom in the well. We will reposition your tables so they're more perpendicular to the bench and the jury. So, it's right, left, rather than looking over your shoulder or having them to your back. Your backs will be essentially to the walls with the court and the jury on your right and left. Okay, thank you.
Judge, just as to the video, we wouldn't invoke a rule of exclusion, so I would say that the closed circuit option is the better option.
Okay, I'll look into it.
I think with that too, just not to jump, but I'm assuming that it's not recorded, so that would also, if there was any recording of it, I don't know how Zoom would do, but if they had the ability to go on and look at archive, you know what I mean? That may have an issue with the rule of exclusion. I think that the closed circuit TV would meet the needs of everyone for that. The other thing I'm just sitting here doing, because limited seating, social distancing, spacing out, am I correct? We're going to be doing the jury selection at the convention center as we've historically done for the last 6, 7 jury trials?
Yes.
With that, a lot of our previous jury trials have been gross misdemeanors or low-level felonies. This is a significantly more emotional case. Is there going to be any additional security in place for for anybody that feels that they may need it, just because, you know, I know there's no metal detector walking in there. For everybody's safety, I don't want anything to go sideways. We need to also look at that to make sure everything is safe for all the participants.
I will. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
One other thing about the convention center, I've had trouble hearing down there with the jurors or answering some of the council's wider questions. For the bench as well. I think if we could have the jurors, prospective jurors hold the microphone, you know, better for the acoustics. So this kind of big in there.
Yeah.
You don't catch everything.
Yeah.
And if a truck goes by, it's got that rattle, you know. It's always when they're giving the best answers, they got the rattle. You can't go here.
We have been I think all of the criminal trials that we have held during COVID have been in the East Hall. I think that's what they call it. The older building.
The animal center?
Yeah.
The one with the animals in it?
Yeah.
We had a civil trial and we held in jury selection in the West Hall. It does have some benefits in that there are less points of ingress and egress. And so to go back to your question about security, I will inquire about which location and maybe raise this issue for security purposes. The problem with, well, I don't want to say a problem. I mean, the use of the convention center has been free to the court, which has really been nice. Unlike some jurisdictions, I know that the county has charged the court to use a convention center, and I just you know, got to be careful. If we get too picky, we may lose out on some of the benefits of having that space. I don't think so, but I'm just. But I'll check on that, and I think the security issue is a good point. I'll make a note of that. The acoustics, yes, I don't disagree with that either. We can accommodate that during the civil trial that we held. Staff from the clerk's office took the handheld mics, and walked it to each juror but we had to wipe it down between each person handling it. I mean, it took a little longer, but it's doable. It's very doable. So I appreciate that. We'll use mic for potential jurors. Just making a note to myself as well for there. Okay, and the other thing there, since you guys are bringing this up, maybe having some space in the convention center, regardless of which hall we use, that is clearly defined for guests or spectators, even during jury selection, because I know that's not well defined the way it's been set up. Just a big room with a lot of seats. And so maybe we'll do something for that too.
Yeah, I think that's probably important. Just you've given this.
Yes.
Right? I think it's probably,
I think the last trial that started and didn't actually finish there, and I think you came in and kind of sat in the back to the left of the bench, and there's kind of an area over there that would be probably the best suited for that. So it was kind of near the clerk's table as people checked in too.
And away from the jury.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. Good point there too. Now, we are scheduled for the full week of November 1st and the full week of November 8th. We do have, I know you raised the issue of Friday the 5th. We also have November 11th is Veterans Day. And that falls on a Thursday. So it's the middle of the week. So I want you to be aware of it. I'm not going to be able to bring a jury back in on that day. I'm not going to be able to keep clerks and staff on that day. So, as you're scheduling witnesses and planning your trial prep, be aware of that holiday as well.
Sure.
Let's see what else is on the calendar. We're otherwise good. I don't see any, you know, we may see how the jury trial is progressing. I know you mentioned the 5th. November 8th is Monday. That's when I typically hold my big drug court for the month. I don't plan on during a trial such as this is to, you know, to hold all the specialty courts, but I may have to just start a little bit later that day because I believe we may have a continuation that morning. I might want to just get some of that stuff taken care of early and then we can go on with trial. I guess that lends itself back to we have on the 26th, some motions hearings. On that day, I would hope that you all could be able to kind of give me a little bit of an outline of anticipated witnesses and maybe how long we actually expect this trial will take, because then we can all plan a little better too.
Yeah, I think we could do that, Judge. You know,
Okay.
I think we could kind of give a thumbnail. I mean, obviously, trial, you know, the first second,
Sure.
you know, start your opening statement, it kind of goes on its own way. And I think we could probably give a real good thumbnail where we think we're going to be at what time for it.
Okay, and I understand the defense does not have to give me that information yet, but so I'm not, it's not to suggest that I'm ordering it. I'm just, if there's the ability to give the court, you know, we can talk about these holidays and other days that could be conflicts if we need to work around them. Okay.
And Judge, it may be for the 26th, but if there's any exhibits, I would anticipate both sides either, you know, try to blow up some photographs or maybe audio, video, or something like that. What do we need to do in advance to ensure there's no hiccup in the technology aspect of this trial going forward?
That's been a bit of a problem lately, and I recognize it's a kind of a hardship for your offices, and it is for me too. My preference would be if you want to come over here, either of you want to come over here and work on setting something up, either through Zoom and screen sharing or additional audio, video, that unless we're all doing it together, I would prefer that you have IT help you, county IT help you, or we'll give you access to the courtroom, no problem with that. My problem is when one side or the other comes up and wants my staff to help do something, I don't want there be a perception that we're helping either the defense or the prosecution and not vice versa. So that's where this has been a little bit of an issue recently. And I know there's been, you know, maybe some hurt feelings over it, but if we're all doing it here together, I'm okay with us trying to help, but we are not IT people. I mean, my staff, even though they understand Zoom better than I do, you know, there's some connectivity issues and things like that are outside of our, you know, our scope too. So thank you for bringing that up, because I think it's been that conversation I've been needing to have with your offices and probably with Mr. Sturman's office too. That's where I'm coming from.
Sure. It will, and I'll work with Mr. Penney. We'll figure it out.
The use of Zoom though, and we can have it active during trial, but I will not record anything on Zoom, because we will have a court reporter and that will be the official record. I don't want there to be this, well, Zoom said and the court reporter said, and there's some difference. We will not do that. So that gets back to kind of the closed circuit. The closed circuit concept may be still utilizing the Zoom technology. It would just be without recording. No one could go back and watch it. Okay. So there would not be that. The other thing with Zoom is if you want to display exhibits, I mean, the screen share feature is nice with the TVs, even though I know some of the jurors in one of the last trials said, well, you need to pull those TVs away from the wall and, you know, turn them so that we can see them better. Well, I can't do that. They're fixed there. I am looking into, though, getting some monitors for your counsel tables. I don't know if we'd have them in time for that, but I am looking for monitors there because I have noticed since the use of Zoom so extensively now is that you attorneys are always looking up there, especially if there's a witness on there, when if you had it right here in front of you like I have it, it would I think make it better for us. So I'm working on that. Plus, if you want to display an exhibit, your exhibit would be right there on a screen on your, and if you're bringing your own computers, that would work too. But ultimately, we'll try to get different monitors for that. So the use of it's good for some displaying of some things, but just a suggestion.
That's what we did the last trial, Judge. We ran those videos countless times from our laptop.
Yep.
Stay in.
Yeah.
We're okay.
Okay, good. Okay, any other housekeeping matters? Otherwise, I want to talk about the number of potential jurors. I'm contemplating somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 to 100 for a trial like this. We've got 2 weeks, significant charges. You know, probably a little bit more press on this one than we've had on some. We don't have, you know, our juror response has been really mixed. I wish I could say that it's pretty consistently 85% show up, but I mean, I know that we had one where, well, I usually only summon 60 to 65 for a category E or gross misdemeanor, and we had 4 left in the gallery when we finished with jury selection today. I mean, so, but they just didn't show up for that one. Now, and you know, we've had others where we've had 30 left out there. So any strong feelings if the court were to summons 90?
No. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think it's a good amount, Judge, because like you said, this case is generating more publicity, pretrial publicity. I think that's a good number.
Okay. Okay, very good. So to the clerk, we'll summons 90 potential jurors, and we'll need to issue those subpoenas now. I mean, when I say now, I'm going to give the clerk's office authority to start that process immediately, because we are just a little over 2 weeks out. So I think then that's one of the excuses we hear the most from jurors is that, oh, I was out of town, I just got back, and I just received my summons, and it's the day before trial. So the sooner we can start that, the better, so we'll start it now. Okay, anything further today?
Not that I can think of, Judge. We come up with anything, we'll probably just address it at that 26 or day.
Okay, good, or I'll have other law motions before that if anything is needed. Ask Alicia, and we can try to get it on the calendar. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. We'll be in recess for today, okay?
All right, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Thank you.